Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Festival of Discovery and our Stories from the Stage open mic session. I'd like to welcome you all. I do have a couple more guests, but admin not being my strong point, I could have sent them to the wrong place. But not to worry, we're lucky enough to have Yasin with us today. And Yasin runs an amazing project. Yasin, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why I've invited you to the open mic?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So I'm Yasin El Ashrafi, and I'm in Leicester, and I run a couple of businesses. So one of them is HQ Recording Limited, and with HQ, it's a studio and it's kind of a media facilitator. And I've also got a record label, and I manage artists. So I've got 8 artists that I say managing, but it's as much kind of developing and mentoring to try and get them to the next stage. And then I'm also part of a social enterprise called HQ CAN, which is HQ Creative Arts Network. And with that, that's all about re-engaging unemployed adults. So anyone over 18 who's not unemployed, we basically give them free studio time or anything. It depends what they want to do, really. Anything to do with music. If they've got a passion for music, we try and help them come up with a plan with the aim, I think, for some people to turn it into a career, so we look at enterprising projects and how to create invoices and how to find out how to get paid and how to be a professional and all the stuff that goes along with that. And then for some people, it's literally just a nice, safe space to come to and work on music, kind of be around creative, like-minded individuals and just have somewhere where they can come and express themselves and be kind of free from everything that's going out and going on in the world, I suppose.
Sorry about that. I meant to mute myself and then I just made it all about me. I do apologise. I was just wondering what's your passion? Why did you set up this to encourage young people to get into music? And where do you find the artists that you are looking after?
Okay, so basically it's quite a long story. So I'll start at the beginning. So when I was younger, so I kind of grew up in Leicester on council estates, and I'd never met my dad, and like we kind of grew up quite hard, and there was little bits of petty crime, and there was just normal stuff that goes on in most estates, to be honest. But when I was 14, I did a music project with a local charity called Soft Touch Arts, and that introduced me to music. And we did an event. We had MCing workshops, DJ workshops, and we put our own event on. And it was a great thing. It was the first time I'd ever DJ'd. It was the first time I'd ever done an event, and we was involved in the whole thing from start to finish. And it kind of had quite an impact on me and my friends and stuff. And to be honest, I kind of went down a bit of a different route. I think I was probably doing the wrong things and looking up to the wrong people. And I kind of ended up wasting quite a few years, maybe around a decade. And when I was in my mid-20s, when I was 26, my partner at the time was pregnant. And it was, I think, for me, the first time I've ever got something where it's like, oh, I've got to be something more. Kind of the first time I really had a drive to be like, well, I was working in a warehouse at the time, and I kind of thought, it was the first time I was ever really bothered about a bigger picture, and I was thinking, I'm going to be a dad, and I'm going to have to look after this kid, and I'm going to want him to look up to me and be proud and stuff. So that was kind of the initial, I suppose, spark that changed me into maybe looking at the bigger picture. But then when he was born with the cord around his neck, so he ended up getting severe cerebral palsy, and I ended up losing my job basically to look after him. And then I kind of realized I've got to find something, where I can be the boss, that I can choose my own hours so I can go to his appointments and do what I need to do, but also something, I suppose, that I can maybe do some good stuff within. So I'd looked at Leicester and I thought, well, I'm mid-20s and I'm still trying to find my direction. So how many other people over 18 might be in a similar position? Because when I was young, I was always intelligent, but I wasn't very academic. School didn't really work for me. I was expelled from school, so I left with no GCSEs. And to be honest, there was always a really low expectation of me. And my mum always used to say, like, you know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and, you know, kind of all these things about why I was, supposed using what people expected of me, I suppose, as an excuse to just do what I wanted, or be bad, or, oh, well, I'm only going to go jail or warehouse anyway. And I kind of felt like, I thought, well, loads of people must be, you know, everybody's got their own time when they find themselves. And I realized there was a real gap in provision for people working with over 18. So there was a lot of people who kind of got to 18, and once you're out of education, you're kind of forgotten about. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do what Soft Touch did for me, but I'm going to do that for adults. So I kind of looked at all the people who I did that initial project with, like years like 1994 or whatever, and it was all still in music. So there was a sound engineer, there was a DJ, you know, like there was doing free parties and stuff. And I was kind of like, okay, so you're all really talented. Everybody's got skills, but no one's making any money. If anything, sometimes they get paid £50 to do a set, and they'll probably spend £60 on travel and drink and stuff. So it was kind of like, I thought, well, if you can't earn much money maybe doing it, like in the meantime, until you get where you want to be in the music industry, maybe you can do it by teaching. So that was kind of I kind of created my little team, and we started a company. And as it was a social enterprise, it was also a chance to, I suppose, get a chance to start a business without having finance or rich parents or having to get a loan. It was like, okay, so because of the social aspect of it, it was a fundable, you know, like a fundable business. So, but then with an actual business idea of everything we do for the people for free through the funding, we can actually then sell that on to other people as just as a service. So that's kind of what we started doing. So I did a couple of projects where I grew up, which was in New Parks in Leicester, which was a neighbourhood learning in deprived communities project. And the council really liked it. I think we asked them for, I think, £1.5 to do like a pilot around this music course. And they loved it. They was like, look, we'll give you £5,000, but we want you to do like a little teaching qualification, so you understand how to teach what is your speciality. So we did that. That went really well. We did it again. That went well. And then I got the chance to take over, which was called 5HQ back in the day. Well, we call it HQ now, because I just couldn't stop calling it 5HQ, to be honest. I think it was a bit too stuck in my brain. And then literally for the last 10 years, we've just been kind of doing a mixture of funded projects for the lottery, working alongside Prince's Trust, Big Lottery, Leicestershire, Rutland Community Foundation, anybody who we can kind of connect with who wants to support that kind of work. And then also, I suppose it's then the commercial side, which is selling the studio time, it could be selling beats, music videos, photography. And to be honest, the artists that I work with, a lot of them have actually, it's all happened quite organically. I think a lot of them have come through my project. So they've probably come to do a 7 or 12-week program, and then I've never been able to get rid of them. They just kind of, so I bounce up from one project to another project and another project. And some of them are so good, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to end up, I can't push them away because they're so talented. So we decided to set up like a management company to then work with the most talented ones, so that we can, like, we're investing into them, I suppose, time and resources. But if they get famous, then that'll pay us back 20% as a management fee. So yeah, to answer your question, it's all just quite organic. Like they usually find us, to be honest.
Honestly, I think I'm really sort of astounded. So I was one of those people. It really resonates with me that when you had your child, you think, right, well, now I've got to be something. You know, I had my daughter at 18 and I thought, well, now I better be a bloody good role model. So I worked very hard at that. And sometimes I'm good at it and sometimes I'm not. But I understand that sense of now I see the big picture. But I've never been able to go to the next step and set up a whole business. I find that whole taking on a social enterprise or a community interest company or a business incredible. How do you get over the fear of doing something like that?
I think, to be honest, it was like in the beginning because it's like I was quite lucky because my friend was quite well versed in business, and he'd set up a social enterprise for another mutual friend, and it was a kickboxing gym. So because he had helped him set up a social enterprise already, I knew that he already had the knowledge of how to set it up. So I just asked him the question. So I was like, what do I need to do? He's like, right, you need a board of directors. So I was like, okay, I picked the directors. What else? Company secretary. Okay, I've got someone who can do that. And to be honest, I probably spent about a year just researching the whole thing, going to networking events, finding out about, because I'd never heard of the third sector. I'd never understood it. I'd never heard of social enterprises or any of that kind of stuff. And I'd never even imagined I could start a business because, like I said, my aspirations were probably quite low because that's what we was told to aspire for. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of, yeah, I think it wasn't so much fear, but I think in the beginning, I think there maybe was a lot of kind of, I suppose, like imposter syndrome. I used to kind of feel like everybody was more intelligent or was older or better connected or had more money, or, you know, there was always a reason why someone else was doing something on a bigger level. And to be honest, even sometimes I used to think maybe it's because I'm Yasin El Ashrafi and not John Smith. You know, maybe it's because I'm working class. And so there was always a lot of things in my mind of maybe why I won't make it or why I won't be successful, or, you know, but I think just by getting involved in doing it, I think, you know, after a few years and the more, like every time we do a course, we'd then, you know, like we'd evaluate it and then try and improve it for the next one. And I think I realized I'm mentoring all these young people and I've not got a mentor. So then I decided to actually approach some mentors myself, and I got a business mentor, and she helped me quite a lot as well. And she made me really realize, because she was like, look, you might not have any qualifications, but I think I was about 5 years in by this point. She was like, you've done 5 years, you've built a business, you've got your own HQ, you know, you're doing all this stuff. Like 5 years is enough to do a master's in, so you are actually an expert. And I think that kind of, I think, went a long way to maybe making me feel like, actually, I do know what I'm on about. And, you know, and then I kind of started realizing a lot of the people who I thought were so much higher up than I were, a lot of those had jobs and they had like maybe part-time job and their business was a secondary thing. So I kind of actually realized we were actually further ahead than a lot of the people we were putting up on these pedestals and stuff. So after that, I kind of realized that, you know what, I'm just going to try now and try and have a bit more self-belief and more confidence. And, you know, I do certain things, you know, I'm quite into like the law of attraction and visualization and, you know, doing big, like long-term plans and stuff like that. And I think by doing that kind of stuff, you know, I kind of feel like a bit more like, yeah, I know what I'm doing because I can plan out projects. And yeah, so I think to get over the fear, it's just basically just do it and just do it over and over again until you feel like, you know, it's easy now because you know what you're doing. And then I think it was 2018 as well. Like I've never done any of it, you know, for PR or for clout or to kind of get people, you know, buying into me. It was always just kind of what we do, you know, and the helping people, I always say, is like the real reward. I call it soul food, you know. So it's like if I can earn some money. And my mum said, to be honest, this is a big part, I suppose, of the social side. When I was starting my business, my mum had cancer. And when I was telling her about, oh, I'm going to be a chairman of a social enterprise, I could earn up to 50 grand a year. And, you know, I was thinking about money at that point. And she was like, stop talking about money. She was like, whatever you get, you're going to spend. And it's just money. It will come and go. She was like, for some reason, people listen to you when you talk. Like there's something about you that you can help people. So if you focus on helping people, that's gonna A, bring you more reward, and B, if you do that long enough, well enough and long enough, everything you want will kind of follow anyway. And then she passed away just as I'd set my business up, and I kind of felt like it's a bit of a weird thing. Like when my mum was there, I kind of felt like I could blag it a little bit now and again. And then when my mum passed away, I kind of felt like she's everywhere. Like she knows what I'm doing. I can't, and I kind of wanted to, I suppose, rather than maybe use that as an excuse to go down, I kind of used it as an excuse to like take power and strength from it and really try and make my mum proud by helping as many people as I could. And she was the same, like she was always giving people fags or food or coffees and, like taking people in if they had nowhere to stay. So I kind of grown up around that anyway, but I've started waffling. I can't remember what the question was.
Oh, I think you answered it fully, and it was lovely to hear what your mother said. And I think it's just shown how positive and the strength that you have shown. And I really love that attitude of just do it, make mistakes, let's just do it, let's find out how it's done, let's get a mentor. I'm not too big to ask, and I just think that's lovely. Before we go on about the artist that we're playing tomorrow, I wonder, thinking of that positivity and how you've brought people together and thinking of the advice your mum gives you, what advice can you give for people, or what have you noticed during this pandemic about how you could stay positive and connected? And I'm especially thinking of young men as well, and how sometimes that they struggle much more and higher risk of being isolated. So I just wondered how you were coping through this period, and how you think, or what advice you would give to others to get through.
Yeah, well, I think my main advice would be is to be proactive in your relationships, because I think especially guys, like we might not always, check up on each other, and like we might be less likely to FaceTime, might be, but I kind of feel like people you need to see people at least, like, so I kind of feel like rather than just sending text and you're messaging how you would usually do, like just make a concerted effort to actually FaceTime people or have Zoom calls, and so at least you can see somebody's face, because I know in the beginning, like there was a few in my team who were kind of really quite suffering and without saying anything, but then would have a phone call or a Zoom call and they'd be like, you know what, I feel a lot better now, and just to be able to kind of have a conversation and go through, like what we're worried about and, like what's going on. And it's really, because we're all in the same boat. No one knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows how long it's going to go on for, so I kind of feel like it's just really important to, like I say, just make that, think about who are you close to, who would you usually see, who might be on their own, like I'm quite lucky. Like I've got kids and I've got a partner, so I've got people around me, but I've got certain friends who live at home on their own, and some of them might not have seen anybody for months. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I need to like make sure, even if I put a little thing in my alarm, ring Ben every once a week, or even just letting them know as well that you're available, so like we've done some group Zoom calls where we'll have like the whole team on there, and so we'll also do like one-to-one FaceTimes and stuff. But main thing is just staying connected, because it's so easy to get, I suppose, detached, and like I think being, I suppose, like lonely or kind of feeling like you don't know what's going to come can cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. So for me myself, I've just tried to stay really busy. I've done a lot of research around, like, I suppose, business models that I can keep online, so that if this happens again, I'll be ready for it, So I've been doing a lot of I've joined a load of other groups as well. Like I joined the Association of Independent Music. I joined the Music Managers Forum, because I know there's going to be like-minded people there. I know that I can find out useful information, and if I spend my time wisely now, I'll be in a better position next year, rather than kind of a lot of people are furloughed or they're just sitting at home waiting for news. So I think, I suppose the main advice is be proactive. Be proactive in relationships. Be proactive in like kind of trying to keep yourself entertained. You know, like, and I know like a lot of people at the minute are buying like little bits of equipment or music software or maybe a guitar or whatever it is because you've got a bit of time. So like do something positive, do something fun, and yeah, try and do something good for someone else as well. Because even if you're in a low place yourself, if you help someone else, that will generally lift you. So a lot of the time, yeah, I'm just trying to stay busy, but also try and be aware of the people who might need just that little bit of extra support, I suppose.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you. That was wonderful. And I think I absolutely agree with everything you say. And I'm really pleased that you said to prioritize relationships. I often talk about the anchors we need to get through this. So it's really nice to hear someone say that back. I wonder before we leave, Yasin, whether you can tell us a little bit. I know we've got one of your artists playing for us at the festival tomorrow evening. I wondered whether you could tell us a little bit about Alice and how you found her, or how she found you.
Well, to be fair, like in Leicester, we're quite well known now. We're kind of like the go-to studio for quite like serious artists, mainly vocalists. Not as much in the band scene, but for singers and rappers, generally they all know about us anyway. And she came the first time Alice came. She came as a client, and she came and made a single, and I think she knew she wanted to be part of the team, so she kept getting in touch and kind of making, she was just around a lot. And I think, to be honest, she'd pitched to do my social media, so she's like, oh, she got a degree in advertising and marketing. So I think her way in was to basically say she was going to come in and help me with the social media. And then I realized that she didn't want to do my social media. She wanted to be an artist. And she weren't actually very good at the social media. So I sacked her off of that. And then I actually put her onto my lottery funded project, my HQ Can project. Because that's always a great way. It gives me a way of working with somebody. She was unemployed at the time. She'd graduated and stuff. And then she went into a job that she hated. And then she got rid of that. And she was just kind of in a position where she was looking for new stuff. So I put her on the lottery project. And yeah, she's great. She's got a great voice, great personality. So after the project had finished, I ended up signing her to a 2-year development deal. And yeah, since then she's been doing bits with BBC, introducing, and she's just active. She does a lot of gigs. She's had a few tracks that have been track on the week on BBC introducing, and we've actually got a Christmas single coming as well, which is called I Believe in Christmas, and that's going to be out everywhere on the 27th of November. So yeah, she's great. So she does kind of R&B. She kind of comes from a folk, I suppose, like an acoustic and folk background, but we're kind of making her into a bit more, I suppose, of a radio friendly artist. So we're working on a lot of production, a bit more kind of R&B style music. And yeah, 6 o'clock tomorrow she's performing. Make sure you tune in and yeah, give us some feedback. Let us know what you think.
I can't wait. I had a preview, and she's definitely my type of music, but I think I'm very much into acoustic and folk, as well as a bit of R&B. So Gronya's been busy in the background. I'm going to bring Gronya in. Hello, Gronya. So Gronya's been looking at Facebook and a little bit of the chat. So I just wondered if you had any reflections, Gronya, before we say goodbye to Yasin.
No, actually, you've answered the question, Yasin. There was certainly a reflection around young men in the pandemic. I'm the mum of 2 young men, and they don't tend to communicate the same way as women. You're quite right. They don't spend as much time nattering on the phone. It is much more Snapchats and text messages and things like that, and gaming, definitely gaming. So I do think we need to do more and be more proactive. So I'm taking a lesson away about ensuring a bit more proactivity in our house, about reaching out. Thanks for that.
Thank you, Yasin. That was lovely. That was honestly it was really nice to hear a young man talk about his development, the development of others, the importance of people. And I'm so impressed of how brave you are with setting up a business as well as being a dad and all those things. I think you're truly inspirational. And I want to thank you very much for joining us today. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.